Hello there, the Gent Gamer here. So it's come to my attention that some of you may not know exactly what Penny Dreadful is. So I decided to make this video and give some insight on Penny Dreadful and why you should care about it. Now let's start off with the very core of what Penny Dreadful is. Now, Penny Dreadful is a fan MTGO format created by Reddit user Binary Swordsman. The core concept of the format is that only cards that are 1 cent on MTGO are legal. Now, I know what you're thinking, how do people know when their decks are legal since prices change all the time? Well, here's how. The format operates on a rotating legality list that updates every standard release. So, for those of you unfamiliar with what those words mean, after each standard set, the list of cards that are legal in Penny Dreadful gets updated. So all the cards that are no longer 1 cent on that release day are rotated out of the format, and all cards that have dropped to 1 cent are rotated into the format. Now that we have the format itself explained, I'm going to go ahead and address some common concerns about the format and the validity, as well as cover base on why this format should interest you. The first and foremost of the concerns that people have when entering the format is card quantity, quality, and variety. First is card quantity. Currently at the time of recording this video, the amount of cards that are legal in the format is exactly 9,428. To put things in perspective, Modern has a little over 10,100 cards legal. From that you can tell that the format isn't going to be starved from the amount of cards that are legal, but here comes the elephant in the room. The quality of the cards that are legal. Now, you can't dodge around the issue here. The fact is, you're probably not going to find any Legacy, Modern, or even Standard staples in Penny Dreadful, but that does not mean that you're forced to play cards that are objectively bad. In fact, plenty of Penny Dreadful staples are cards that once dominated Standard during their heyday. Cards like Flametongue Kavu, Astral Slide, Cruel Ultimatum, and Psychotog are all oft-seen staples in Penny Dreadful that all had their moment in Constructed. A few cards are simply just powerful cards in their own right, such as Priest of Titania, Mother of Runes, Dark Ritual, Hermit Druid, and most impressively Treasure Cruise. So now that we've covered the concerns about card quality and quantity, let's move on to the second most brought up issue with Penny Dreadful and fan formats in general, the solvability and stagnancy of the format. Now, Penny Dreadful, like any format, has a meta, with some decks performing better than others, and I will cover the available archetypes and varieties of decks available in the next segment, but for now, I'm going to go ahead and talk about the steps that Penny Dreadful takes to solve the format crisis. Now, unlike other fan formats that have lost popularity due to it being solved, Penny Dreadful tries to circumvent this issue by being what is currently being coined as self-regulating. The idea behind this is that as the metagame evolves and transitions toward being solved with one dominant deck, the prices for core cards in the deck will rise, and in effect, make themselves illegal for the format come rotation. The beauty behind this, of course, is that as the meta-dominating decks rotate out, the prices for the cards will slowly drop, and pieces will trickle back in again, hopefully with new cards added that may see the deck played again, but without the dominance it had before. An example of this effect already in progress is the card Frantic Search. Due to Treasure Cruise being legal, Frantic Search was run in combination with it because it allowed control and combo decks to filter for answers and pieces respectively, while also fueling Delve. As you can see, the price for Frantic Search was pretty steady at 1 cent up until July 24th or 25th, 2 days after the publication of Penny Dreadful on the Reddit, where it rose to about 3 cents and has stayed above 1 cent since. Now, finally, the last asked question is, how is the health of the meta, and are there dominant decks and archetypes? Well, as you can see on the left here for comparison, this is the current MTG Goldfish record of the top 8 standard decks in the meta at the time of this video. As you can see, Band Company represents 30% of the standard meta, with the remaining top 8 taking somewhere between 2 and 6% each. Now, while Penny Dreadful doesn't have as many matches to compare this data to, the comparison is a bit flawed. The current data I have to work with exists of games that I've played myself and what I've encountered, so it's not fully representative of the Penny Dreadful metagame as a whole. But, as you can see, even with the metagame sharing deck lists on the subreddit, there hasn't really been a dominant deck type, with me only encountering Blue-White Heroic and Elves about 3 times each. Now, you might be asking, why should I play Penny Dreadful? Well, here are some reasons you should give it a shot. First, it's inherently the most budget format available. New players will be able to access the format easily, with free resources available to new MTGO accounts, such as Card Hoarder's 2 free credits, and the plethora of free cards available from bots means you can make a deck without even sinking any tickets or cash into the format. The second reason this format should appeal to you may not be relevant if you're not an extremely competitive player, but due to the self-regulating nature of the format, the competitive metagame is rarely stagnant. seeing a pretty fair distribution of all deck archetypes available to be played. Finally, you should consider trying out Penny Dreadful if you ever wanted to help build a format from the ground up. Due to its relative newness, Penny Dreadful is just waiting for brewers to come and make their mark on the format. Anyway, that's it for this video. I hope I've given some insight into the format Penny Dreadful and its rules, along with hopefully showcasing the incentives of playing this format. And I hope to see you all in matches sometime soon. Remember to like and subscribe, and if you have any questions or your own insight on Penny Dreadful, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below. Thank you all for watching. I'm the Gent Gamer.